Hello everyone, it's Daz, and this week's discussion is on changing behavior among animals and insects. And before I get into it, I once again uploaded a new video to my second channel, and I'll post a link to it in the description box. But if you're interested in historical paranormal sightings and stories, with that being said, concerning insects, yellow scorpions are taking over Brazil due to deforestation, and specialists have warned that there's a rising danger of these scorpions, and especially for children. The number of deaths from scorpion stings reported to the country's public health system has doubled in the past 4 years, from 70 in 2013 to 184 in 2017. And one of the more recent deaths is the death of a 4-year-old girl in Sao Paulo. There are 4 dangerous species of scorpions in Brazil, but the yellow scorpion is the deadliest. And this scorpion has adapted to the traditional savanna habitat to survive in sores and garbage and rubble in urban areas. The yellow scorpion is parthogenic, meaning that it's able to reproduce without a male scorpion present, and it feeds on insects such as cockroaches. And unfortunately, it has a low metabolism, which means that it can live for several months without eating. And sores are rich places for the scorpion to live, and there are plenty of cockroaches for it to eat, which is making it dangerous. Another change for animals, and this is with deers, has to do with chronic wasting disease spreading among deer. And chronic wasting disease is affecting deer in 24 US states. And experts warn that it is the zombie deer disease. How chronic wasting disease works is that misfolded proteins known as prions are spread to a deer through transmission of body fluids or drinking water, and protein shape controls protein function. So when these proteins begin to misfold other proteins, it affects the deer's brain and spinal tissue, which leads to irregular movement and zombie-like behavior among the deer, and they essentially become emaciated and begin wasting away, hence the name chronic wasting disease. And the first case was reported in the 1960s in Colorado, and then again in a wild deer in 1981. Now, the issue with this is that there are hunters that like to hunt and then eat deer, and there haven't been any cases of CWD in humans. However, if a human were to consume a deer, they could possibly contract the disease. And it's similar to mad cow disease in the sense that in the 1980s and 1990s, people consumed infected beef, which mad cow disease was a prion illness, and so there's just concern among public health officials with the spread of chronic wasting disease to humans. So they're warning them, if they see a deer that looks like it has this disease, to leave it alone, not kill it, because you don't want to take any chances. And then in Russia, there are issues with polar bears overtaking towns. A lot of this has to do with a deficit of food in the area, and it's gotten so bad that the military actually has to go in and defend the residents of this town. And it's so bad that they're worried that these polar bears will try to eat people. Some people aren't even going outside their homes because of this. And they're hoping that with the falling temperatures, that the new ice will turn the bears' attention to new prey such as seals. But for now, the military has had to be deployed to stop these polar bears from coming into the towns, and there were about 50 that were sighted in the past week. And then last but not least, wild boars are running amok in Hong Kong, and a lot of this has to do with urbanization, similar to Brazil, where there's deforestation. As they build on previous homes of wildlife, wild boars are being sighted outside of apartment complexes as well as near the University of Hong Kong. And some people worry about if they're dangerous or not. There have only been 10 recorded cases of wild boars injuring anyone since 2014. There is the risk because they do have sharp teeth, and large males are equipped with vicious tusks, but people are just staying on their guard, although some are feeding these wild boars because they find them cute. And there have been other wild animals that have roamed about Hong Kong, like tigers, but since most of that population has died out. With all of these stories, I do see 2nd Ezra's 5:8 in it, but I'll go ahead and read 5:7 through 8. And this is from the Apocrypha. And the sea of Sodom shall cast up fish, and one whom the many do not know shall make his voice heard by night, and all hear his voice. There shall be chaos also in many places, and fire shall often break out, and wild beasts shall roam beyond their haunts, and menstruous women shall bring forth monsters. So just reading 2nd Ezra's 5:8 especially, even though we've seen fish being cast up in lakes and oceans, and scientists say it's due to pollution and causing the fish in the waters to die, and that could easily be the case. We also have seen more wildfires breaking out, and we're seeing more animals invading certain areas, but we do have to remember these areas were once their home, and wild animals and insects are learning to adapt to new environments. It's also sad to see diseases like chronic wasting disease occurring among deer, but just giving an example of what a human with prions would be like, similar to mad cow disease or CJD or Kuru in Papua New Guinea. Those are all cases of humans with a prion-related illness. But I'd like to know what your thoughts are on all of these stories developing around insects and animals, leaving what people think of as their natural habitat to move in with humans, and conflict occurring between the two species, as well as a disease like chronic wasting disease potential of spreading to humankind. Let me know what you think, and I hope that you all have a wonderful week. Make sure to check out this Friday's top 5 craziest stories, as well as my second channel's uploads. I'll talk to you in next Monday's live stream. Take care, and God bless.